Phil Steele Plus tour for the first full week of college football. This is your late August edition, and up for you today I have three selections, two quick hitters, and information, and of course, on how to use Phil Steele Plus, which is the whole purpose of the tour. Now, just to let you know, we will possibly be having another FCS update later, like on Friday this week. If that's the case, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification, and that way you're notified when everything's up, and you'll be notified when the FCS edition is up, if we put one up on Friday. A couple quick notes for you. Let's start off with the tour records, and last year was a good year, 40-32 in 2024 on the tour. Now 67-45 the last 23 weeks of the regular season. The FCS selections, 29-15, 67% last year. Those are the ones that might come up on Friday. Overall, the tour selections, 70-47, 69% in the regular season, and 1-0 this year. 1-0 this year, winning with Kansas in the opening game. We gave out one play. The NFL plays 6-5-1 the last 22 weeks. We have a new NFL handicapper, and he will be putting up plays each and every week. So next week we'll start some NFL plays. Probably have one per week for you in the NFL. So let's get to your tour for this week, and let's get to your first selection. And we're going to take a look at my technical game of the week. Now, I added up the records, and over the last 2 years, we've had 9 technical plays. They have gone 7-2 over the last 2 years. And this week's first play is Eastern Michigan, plus 14 over Texas State. All right, now, as you see, it's blank so far. There's been no games played, but they'll be coming up. A couple quick notes for you. If you click over here, you get to see the series history. You'll see that these teams played once in the last 28 years. It was in 2021. Eastern Michigan won 59-21. They were a 7-point favorite. They rushed for 242 yards. All this comes up at your fingertips on every single team. All 28 years matchups are updated for this year. Nice job, Todd. I talked about that last week, and Todd did indeed get them all up. But another section to look at is right here, which is your last 10 years straight up in ATS records. If we look there, we see that Chris Creighton has been outstanding. Now, if you look at Eastern Michigan's record as an away dog, Creighton started here in 2016. So we take off 3-3 from here. You got 30-11 as an away dog. And that's, we've used this before on the tour. He has been an exceptional coach as an away dog, 30-11 against the spread. Eastern Michigan only has Long Island on deck, so nothing to look forward to. And while both teams have a ton of transfers coming in this year, keep in mind Eastern Michigan almost yearly is one of the least experienced teams in the country. Also, if we take a look at these logs here, and this is why it's a technical play, take a look at the non-conference record, and you are looking at 26-16 in non-conference play for Eastern Michigan over the last 10 years. Meanwhile, if we take a look at Texas State and we take a look at G.J. Kinney as a home favorite, how about 5-6 ATS as a home favorite? He's been there 2 years. And how about as a double-digit favorite? I love how this breaks it down. This is much more than the spread records we have in the magazine. Of course, we have more space on Phil Steele Plus. My magazine pages are limited. The Phil Steele Plus page is unlimited. I can put all this information up here. As a double-digit favorite, he is just 4-7 against the spread. So you have a really good away dog against a poor favorite, poor double-digit favorite. Your technical game of the week is Eastern Michigan, plus 14 over Texas State. Quick note for you on the schedule predictor. I will have this updated tomorrow for you, and we're going to add in the technical angle out here on the right, which I did not get to it last week, but we will have the angles updated for this week. I'm going to work on this tonight, or Thursday night, or Wednesday night, I should say. And this, of course, when you go to Phil Steele, if you are a Phil Steele Plus member, you just go to the all access part right here, and the schedule predictor is right here. You click on that, and you would have access to it. We give you all this information on all the FBS teams. We give you all this information on all the FCS teams. We give you all this information on the NFL teams. Once again, NFL, we're in Cleveland. I'll click on the Browns. There's the records for last year. Schedule, we'll have it all updated for you by the time of the start of the season. Last 10 years records, updated spread-wise right there like that. Individual player stats if you're into fantasy football and you want to know how a player did in any game, that's all up there. This is on all of them. And the last 20 years logs as well right there. Plus you get the last 28 years records. You want to see how Cleveland's done against Dallas. Those are their only meetings in the last 23 years, etc. Complete FCS matchups and the team pages there. When you click on, let's see, North Dakota State won the title last year. You get the individual player stats on each team, on each player for each game. Last 6 years ATS logs is updated. And, of course, in the FCS magazine, you get 2 full pages on each team. And there's all your records. And this goes all the way back. The FCS, we've got records on that dating back to 2010. So I'm just giving you a sample of what's on these pages. But the schedule predictor, by the way, which I have right there, will be updated for you tomorrow. All right, let's get to your second tour play for this week. Once again, 3 official selections this week. 1-0 already this year with the winner on Kansas. This is my outgained their opponent. Now, I'm going to put the matchup on here. There's not a lot to show you because the games haven't really been played. Phil Steele Plus really kicks into action. You know, if you have your magazine, you know everything that happened the past year and so. But Phil Steele Plus kicks into action with this year's stats updated. But let's this matchup here, we're going to put Wyoming on the left. So let's go ahead and get them. They're in the Mountain West. And we are going to put Akron on the right. And Akron is right here. Now this one's titled Underdog Outgained Foes. On the tour, I've only had 8 of these plays over the last 3 years. I went back and looked at all the records, opened up each tour, went through them all, got all the records. It's gone 6-2, so let's hope this one is a winner for you today. Now, a couple things. First of all, this is what you get when you get press box. And let me open up the Wyoming game here. As you can see, it's showing Akron with 391 yards, Wyoming with 390. So that's an underdog outgained their opponent. Yes, it's showing Wyoming winning the game by like 2.5 points, but it is showing Akron with the yardage edge. And I like Akron in this. In fact, I'm calling for an outright upset in the opener, 28-27. Akron's a 7-point dog at home, so you got to like that. Now, it does have some other things in its favor, not just this, but this is an example. There are 97 matchups in this week's Inside the Press Box. And let me just pull this over here for a second. It's year 3 of my battle with the computer. Last year, Press Box, my best bets went 40-30. Computer best bets 37-25. Computer's actually on a 53-32 run the last 25 weeks. Regular season champ, the computer, but I won the postseason, went 9-3, including the FCS plays. So it was a good postseason for me. Overall, the best bet record combined for 24 is 77-55. And by the way, there was one best bet last week, which won. So now 78-55 over the 2 years, as I am 1-0 and the computer is 0-0. 97 games are broken down this week. And me and the computer combined for 7 best bets and then 7 more FBS versus FCS best bets. So you get all 97 games broken down, 14 best bets basically. The price for Press Box, pull this up here, $169, $169, or $269 for the package. Sign up for any of these packages. You get 3 bonuses free. You get Phil Steele Plus. You get for free for the entire year. You get Phil Steele Plus, FCS magazine, and NFL magazine. All of that included with that. And check out page 352 of the magazine. You get yourself a little discount. So you just go online, go to the store at Phil Steele. Right here, you go to the philsteele.com store. And when you go there, we're just taking a second to load here. Here's your NFL and college bundle. Here's your college. Here's your NFL. Phil Steele Plus, as you see, is $99. You get that with any of these subscriptions. You want to sign up for the college, just click on it, type in that code that's on page 352, and you get $20 off of that. Plus, you get Phil Steele Plus for free for the year. So do make sure you check that out. But let's go back to Wyoming against Akron here. And if you take a look at the straight-up records, and this is, of course, in your magazine, the straight-up records, but we see that Wyoming's just 18-38 straight up on the road. They're not a good road team. Akron hadn't been great at home, but last year they went 3-2 at home, and they went 3-1 as a home dog. In fact, look at this under Moorhead, 3-1, 1-1. They are 6-7-3 as a home dog over the last 3 years. I like that. And look at Wyoming as an away favorite, just 8-10 as an away favorite. So you got a nice matchup angle-wise. You've got the fact that the computer has Akron outgaining Wyoming, and you're a 7-point home dog in this one. And last year, if we take a look at the spread records, you could look at this at your magazine, but last 40 years results, these give you the spread records all the way back to 1976. So you can look anything up. It's like having an encyclopedia. But if we take a look at last year, Wyoming was favored against Idaho, lost outright, and basically they were favored against San Diego State. It finished at Pick'em. They were favored during the week. Once again, lost outright. So twice they were a favorite during the year. Both times they lost outright under Sawvell. Add it all up, your underdog outgain your foe play is Akron +7 over Wyoming. Well, let's go to your matchup game this week, and we're going to take a look at Coastal Carolina on the left. Click on them over here. Coastal Carolina, they're in the Sun Belt, and they are taking on Virginia. Now, I can tell you Virginia, for the first time in Tony Elliott, he has his best offensive line he has had. His first two are very inexperienced. Last year he had a better offensive line, and this is his best team overall that he has had. You can read more on that in the magazine. I give you a complete breakdown on Virginia. Now, last year, these two played, and it's interesting. If you take a look here, Virginia rushed for 384 yards, 6.6, and they have an even better offensive line and better set of running backs this year. That was, if you look over here, that was the number one performance anyone had against Coastal's defense. So if we go back and look at Coastal, you will see that Coastal right here was held to a season, or allowed a season high in yards, 525. They didn't allow that. That's what this number means here. It means they had a season high in yards. So they were 120 above their average. So if you look here, their average, if you take out the 525, would have been 405 yards per game. With that 525 included, it's 414 per game. So Virginia absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage, and they led this thing. If you go back and look at the game a little bit closer, they led this thing 37-10. Coastal put together two late drives, went down 37-10. They went 75 and 75 yards for touchdowns to make the final 43-24, and that was on the road. Now Virginia's at home for this one, and you got to like the fact they had that total domination. Now let's take a look at a couple other factors. Once again, we'll go back and use these angles, and these angles are really neat in the fact that how is Virginia done as a double-digit non-conference favorite? Now, I don't have it here. I went back and looked it up, but you could see double-digit favorites, and then in the non-conference, they've done extremely well. They're actually 6-2 as a double-digit non-conference favorite. Now, with Coastal, we can look them up. It's right here on the last 7 years. How do they do as a double-digit underdog? Okay, underdog, double digits, 5-9, but take away this 2-2 right here, and all of a sudden you're 3-7 over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So you got a 3-7 double-digit dog against a 6-2 double-digit non-conference favorite. You've got Virginia controlled the line of scrimmage last year, 384 yards. And if we go back and look at that play-by-play, and I go through the play-by-play of every single game during the course of the year, you just click on box, and this comes up. You get this on every single game. But it goes through the play-by-play, and you can see, like, late in the game here, let's go down and just look at some of these plays. Once Virginia got that 37-10 lead, look at this. Run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle. They threw one pass, run. They were just running the football right down their throat. Run. Here's a pass, but mostly run. Ran the ball down their throat all game long and dominated. Now they're at home, and they're laying only 11.5. So your play is going to be Virginia, actually, or -12. Virginia -12 over Coastal Carolina is your official play right there. All right, let's get to your quick hitters. I have two quick hitters for you. As I mentioned, I'll have the schedule predictor updated on Thursday. There is a possible second update, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell so you're notified. Next weekend's show, or tour, we'll have more selections for you. Just a slightly limited FBS versus FBS card. But like I said, I may have a Friday update you with more selections. All right, let's get to your quick hitters for this week. Your first one is San Jose is hosting Central Michigan. And we will put Central Michigan on the left. And once again, there's nothing to show you for this year because it hasn't been updated yet. Once we get to the season, all this stuff is updated every single week. You get your yards versus opponent, your nets, your individual game grade, which I find very valuable. Later in the year, last 4 weeks stats are put up there. But we're going to put Central over here, and we're going to put San Jose on the right. I can just tell you I like San Jose. My computer likes San Jose. There's a lot of good things going for them. The interesting fact I'm going to throw out here, which makes it a quick hitter, this game starts at 10:30 at night. Eastern time, 7:30 San Jose time. So it's going to be ending about 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, I know you say, hey, college kids stay up late. Football players don't stay up that late. They've got to get up early for practice in the morning. They're in their game day rotation. So this thing's ending about 2 o'clock in the morning Central time. I would expect San Jose to tuck an extra score on late in this one. We're going to go with the fresher team in this one, San Jose minus 13 over Central Michigan. And the final one to take a look at, and I'd like to show you more what's on the site because there's just tons of information. But once again, let's get some games played so I can start showing you the red-green numbers and updating it for you for the week. But this last one, we're going to take a look at the game's big week. It's Ohio State against Texas. Yes, the big week. I'm giving you a play on it. Let's take a look at it. We'll go over here, get Texas. And I'm going to go with under 48. Now, last year, if you looked at Ohio State, they had a veteran quarterback. Texas had a veteran quarterback. This year, Texas actually loses its top 3 receivers. They lose 4 offensive linemen. They've got a new quarterback coming in. You might have heard of him, Arch Manning. So you got to think that with 4 new offensive linemen, their offense won't be as effective. But go back and take a look at last year's game. When these two played, the final score was only 42 points, and that included 2 big plays by Ohio State. Ohio State got this screen pass right before the half. 13 seconds before the half, Henderson takes a screen pass and goes 75 yards for a touchdown. Take that play out, or this 83-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Take that play out, and all of a sudden, instead of 42 points, you only have 28 points scored. The total here is 48. And even with those 2 plays, this game did not go over this 48 total last year. So I talked about the fact that Texas's offense is young quarterback, young offensive line, loses top 3 receivers, going against a good Ohio State defense. On the flip side of the coin, I actually have Texas my number 1 rated defense this year. Anthony Hill at linebacker and company, they have the top defense. So you got the best defense going against a first-year starting quarterback in Julian Sayin. How many games has Julian Sayin played? Let's go take a look. Individual player stats for Sayin last year. He had 2 for 2 against Western, and that was his season. 2 for 2. Oh, no, I'm showing. Has he got? Oh, here was an extra game against Tennessee, 0 for 1. So he threw 3 passes last year. Now he's going against the best defense in the country. I'm going to go with under 48 in the Ohio State and Texas game. Well, a shorter tour for you today, but hopefully a profitable one like last year's tours all were. And then maybe back on Friday, have the schedule predictor up for you on Phil Steele Plus. On Thursday, I'll have it all updated for you. And at this time, I'd like to say thank you for taking the tour. Once again, 97 games in this week's Inside the Press Box. Make sure you get on board with Inside the Press Box this year. And at this time, I'd like to thank you for taking the Phil Steele Plus tour with me. It's just $20 an issue, by the way. If you want to get this week's issue, just $20 on philsteele.com. And thank you for taking the Phil Steele Plus tour.